In my last video for this series, I showed you guys the Master Carver Micro Carver. In today's video, I'm going to show you the wood burning systems. So I think for the very beginning wood carvers, that's what the series is based on. When you get yourself a wood burner, it's a really big game changer. So it can add a lot of texture to your wood carvings. It can add a lot of shading to your wood carvings, and you can even draw with these types of wood pens if you get different tips and stuff like that. This is what I first started off with. This is called the, well, it's called the Whole Life. I don't have the pen anymore because, well, this was a cheap Chinese one. It lasted me like a year. The base part's still good, but the pen finally melted. So I'll just keep this around for something to have around, you know, just one more of those things to put in the closet. This one here is one that I asked my good friend Peterblair to lend me because this has different types of tips. This is a modified one. It's called American Beauty. He says it was once a soldering station, but he rigged it up so a very, very good soldering station. This thing is friggin' heavy, but he modified it so it can take a wood burning pen. So I don't know how he did that, but I suggest anybody that doesn't know about electricity, just don't try and mess with this kind of stuff. And if you do, make sure it's unplugged. Just probably best not to. But we'll go over with this after and show you the different types of tips. This is what I have. This is the razor tip. This is one of the most expensive razor tips. It's digital. I definitely do not need this digital razor tip. I just got it because I got it for more than half price off, basically brand new, from one of the subscribers that bought it. Says he didn't need it, and he sold it to me for very cheap. Okay, so once again, you do not need an expensive one. Razor Tip is a very good brand. It's well renowned. It's got great reviews. Lots of people that draw, like what's called pyrography users, use the Razor Tip, and it's Canadian made. So that's a bonus. I'm Canadian, but that's not why I have it. But anyway, so let's go over this one first, and then we'll talk about this pen with the different tips. Like I said a bunch of times, you do not need to get yourself an expensive one of these, all right? So this razor tip, this is the heavier duty cable because I burn really hot, and I got the heavier duty pen. So basically with the razor tip, I'm not suggesting razor tip. I'm not suggesting any type of wood burning sets. I just don't know enough about them. But I'll say if you're just going to get started, buy yourself a cheap one. I got it in my Amazon store, the playlist. I call it the Just Carve Rob Wood Burner. Just buy yourself a cheap Chinese one if you want, for it to last a year or two. Then you can upgrade to a better one. So the razor tips here, you can buy different pens, right? So you just unplug this. So here's the wood bending pen. So you can buy the whole pens that have the shaders in them, the different things in them, and the yup. Okay, so you see it just plugs in. You go to the razor tip site. I think they might even sell them on Amazon, and you can buy the different pens for the different things that you want to use. This pen here, why I have this pen, you see these screws on here? Little screws. This is my own wire. I forget the name of the wire. It's nickel plated wire or something. I'll put a link to it down below, but you can make your own wire. So lots of people do make their own wire. You just put it in the screws there. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but Studio on the Lake makes his own wire. Just Carve Rob makes his own wire. My friend Peter Blair, the mad scientist, makes his own wire. Lots of people make their own wire. Okay, so I'm not even really gonna explain this tool. Besides, there's an on off, and here's the power button, and you know, because I don't suggest people go spend the huge money. Okay, so the pen's on. Okay, I need to clean this thing, but here it goes. So it's super hot, right? And your temperature just up or down. I don't know. I don't think that you need this expensive one. So that explains the razor tip. There is a cheaper model that's not digital, and it's very good. It's got very good reviews. So let's move on to the next one, and this video won't be too long. Now this one here, this razor tip has it too, okay? So you can get a pen, and you can change. Why I borrowed this from Pete is you can change out these tips, you see? Pete doesn't know what kind of, I think he said he forgets what kind of make this is. But you see there's holes in there, and you get the different style tips. So this one's for shading. So you just put them in the holes. So here you get all different sorts of tips. Okay. You got kind of like razor blade one. One more for shading. Shading tips and all different sorts of things. So like I said, all you do is pull this out, get yourself a new tip. Okay, let me get these untangled. And then you put it in the holes. Okay, so there's a new tip in there. Pete, I call him the mad scientist because he knows, he's been using this stuff his whole life. He knows he's not a big fan of this style pen because he likes to have it so, because you're not too sure if this is, when you put these things in there, how well they're going to be grounded inside there. So he says that I think Pete has the Master Carver micro burner, which is a good one. I want to get that sooner or later one day too, once my digital razor tip will die. There's one, I think he has a little screw here, so once you put these in here, you screw it in and it locks it up, and then you know you got a good ground. I think the one that Ben's Studio on the Lake uses is called the Optima. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's the Optima company, been around for a long time. The Optima did make micro carvers, but they're not making them anymore, and they're just making the wood burning pens. So there's so many different brands for you to get of these styles. So if you want to cheap out and buy one from China, they'll last, but like this, it didn't last forever. So that's about it for the wood burning pens. Let me set up I'll get a piece of wood and just show you. I'll use this one. I don't need to use my razor tip. I'll just use this one and show you just like kind of what they do. Okay, so you guys can see this one here. It's got the heat control on it. I'll turn it on, and we'll try. And this is just I did this silly wood spirit on this dowel. It's just a half a face one yesterday when I was just screwing around. So this is on. Okay, see it's heated up. So you just kind of, it's good to do like for burning inside here. You know, you could burn inside the eyes. I suggest anybody wanting to get into wood carving that's serious about it to get yourself a wood burning pen, and because they can be a lot of fun too. Like I said, you can draw pictures. I know Liz does that on her wood spinners. Okay, so you see the shade in there. Just Carve Rob really likes his wood burning pen. He's got the razor tip now too. The razor tip one is more affordable because let's pretend this is carved right here, right? And you got two different colors of paint. Just Carve Rob paint some of his pieces, or stain, or whatever. You got two different colors of paint. So we want one side to be one color, the other side to be another color, right? So what we're going to do is we are going to burn a line down here. It would be like a carving feature, like a deep point, right? So when you burn this line here, when you put paint on one side and then another color of paint on the other side, Just Carve Rob does water down his paint. The watered down paint will stop in that ditch that this wood burning pen has created, and it won't run to the other side. Okay, it works for stain. It also works for like oil finishes and stuff too, right? So just remember that you're creating a ditch, and the paint can't get to the other side. Does that make sense to you? So I don't think I need to really show any more about these wood burning pens, but I really do suggest if you're getting serious into wood carving or woodworking, you get yourself one. I will suggest the razor tip, cheaper one. The Master Carver, I'll suggest. That's called the Master Carver Master Carver Master Burner. Yeah, the Master Carver Master Burner. The Optima. And there's so many other different makes of the wood burners. Lots of stuff. But if you're just not sure, and also if you don't have a lot of money, you can just get the one that I got in my Play Store. It says Just Carve Rob Wood Burner. He's used it for years. He liked it, but now he's got he's got the razor tip that I have, the lower model one that I had too, and just carry on and have fun. It will really help your carving game. Carving Fusion, over and out.